This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 33 of Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network. Healthy's Critter Radio is brought to you by Biostar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we're going to talk about our favorite products. Cirneco Dell'etna is the breed of the show. Aloe Vera is featured in Critter Nutrition. And in Coffee Clutch, we talk about flea and tick products. Patty, you have had quite a challenge. Last 48 hours.
Yes, it's been a little bit. The last 48 hours has been a little bit tougher than. It started about a week ago. My daughter Hannah is actually, as we speak, probably arriving in Wellington with my truck and my brand new trailer and two of her horses. She was awarded a scholarship to train with Robert for a month.
Dover.
And yeah, Robert Dover. And he had been in Texas doing clinics, 2 clinics, and he's been my longtime coach for years and years. And I have a PRE, was a stallion. I still refer to him as a stallion, but he's a gelding. That has been a little tough to finish. He has his ones, he has his pirouettes, his passage is good, but his piaffe is weak, which is difficult. Anyway, so I was going to go and train with Robert for a month and was very excited about all this. But Stu had other plans. I have the farm that we're at. It's very open and there's a lot of fields. And I have his last offspring. His name is Stanley. And he was having a good old time out in the field. And I guess Stu was just like, wow, that's my boy. I'm going to one-up him. And I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but he hit his shoulder somehow. And there's a nerve that runs across their shoulder. And I think it's called the ulnar nerve. Yeah. So, but in horses, oddly enough, it is literally right under the skin. And Tigger, you know how many times you've heard old time horse people say, don't you let that horse walk in the stall without you walking with it. They're going to hit their shoulder. Lieselot used to tell me that all the time. Don't let them do that. I'm like, yeah. What are you talking about? Well, in all the years I've been doing this, which has been many, I've never had this injury. And Hannah, for some reason, she knew it's called a Sweeney. Have you heard that term?
Mm-mm.
So a Sweeney is when it's actually the nerve is severed, and it's known in draft horses. And what happens is when they put the collar on them and it's too big and they work all day, it can sever that nerve because it falls. It literally is, if you touch your shoulder, it runs right over the top of the shoulder. Oddly enough, in a dog, it goes underneath. And, in the shoulder, the point of the shoulder on the horse, that's not actually where the joint is. It's back, in further. So I sent a video, thank goodness for technology. I sent a video to my vet and he said, listen, I think this is, he talked about the forward phase of the gait and he said, he's not lame. I mean, it's lame because he's not moving his leg forward, but it's going to take probably about 7 days. So I brought him up there just for him to check him out and make sure. And he said, it really, truly, it will get better and better every day. Well, anyway, it didn't. And he was supposed to, it got a ton better, but just not enough to make a difference. So he didn't end up getting on the trailer, which was quite frustrating. And so Hannah went on down by herself with her dad, and Stu decided he wanted to stay in Texas.
So when will you come?
I think now it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We were talking about this before we, started doing the show. It's hard because what a lot of people don't understand what it entails. I mean, this takes months of planning, and you have to, of course, get your stalls and pay for them in advance, which is not refundable, and make all the preparation for all of these things. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to go down the period of time I was going to. So I probably won't come down till the 18th or 19th of March, and I'll probably only stay a week versus, staying, through the rest of March into April.
Well, may I just say, Patty P,
Yes, ma'am.
if you can get to Wellington by the late afternoon of the 17th,
Mm-hmm.
you will see my Grand Prix quadrille go at Global.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yeah, so forget about the 18th or 19th. Just come on in Friday night, watch the Grand Prix, see the Grand Prix quadrille.
And have a good time.
And have some alcohol.
Okay. Yeah. That actually, I mean, we talked about that. Every year you do this, don't you? Every year.
Well, I do it. It's the Challenge of the Americas, but this year they're not doing the Challenge of the Americas. So we're just doing an exhibition quadrille to keep people in the quadrille groove.
Okay.
Next year, the Challenge of the Americas will be back, and it will be at Global.
Perfect. Oh, awesome. Yeah. And where's it going to be this year then?
It isn't this year. There is no Challenge of the Americas.
But where are you going to do the quadrille? Sorry, I said that.
At Global.
It still is at Global.
Time entertainment for the Grand Prix freestyle.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that ought to be good. That ought to be really interesting. Well, because a lot of people don't know that you do freestyles as well as serve healthy food to horses. So Tigger has many hats.
Yes. So speaking of many hats, we have Glenn here.
Hi, Glenn.
I didn't know she did freestyles.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah, Tigger is the best. She is absolutely the best.
So explain for those that have no idea and have never seen one, what I think people got an idea because they've seen drill teams of what a quadrille is, but in what you do in the dressage world, what is it?
It's figure skating without ice, performing required technical movements to music.
So you still have your dressage movements, but you're doing it all together, all four of you.
All four of you.
Well, that's he's thinking of the quadrille.
Quadrille.
Oh,
yep.
But it's the same thing for an individual freestyle.
Right. Yeah, I was going quadrille too. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So with the quadrille at the Grand Prix level, now you've got double pirouettes, you have one tempes, you have piaffe and passage. So there's a lot more elements to...
And they're doing it in unison?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, on a good day.
That's hard because all horses piaffe and passage a little bit differently.
Well, that's why the choreographer has to be clever in the way you put the piaffes together so that the weak ones are sort of hidden and the strong ones are more noticeable to the audience.
Yeah, because the height's different on all of them. So that would be noticeable if you're lined up.
Well, it depends on how you line them up, Glenn.
Yeah, and like the Rockettes, if the Rockettes, if the one little girl in the middle is only getting her leg up a little bit, it stands out.
Right. And, depending on how, these are mostly green Grand Prix horses that I have in this quadrille this year, with an exception of one that is very experienced, and he's kind of the one that I create all the difficult things for. He's I'm showing him off. It's K-Ba, Patty.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'll be so awesome.
And the others, because they're so young and green, you can't ask for them to piaffe for 15 steps. So
right.
It's just not fair. You're happy to get 8.
Yeah. without anybody dying and somewhat on the spot.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, if they creep a little bit, okay.
Yeah. Right.
So anyway, now that we have Glenn and Patty P, we're going to talk about our favorite products that we have recently discovered or used that we can share with our listeners who might be interested in new cool things.
Yeah. I personally think that Glenn should start because he seems so excited.
He's so excited.
Well, I got 2 things. So Jennifer couldn't be here tonight because her mom's in town. So that's why she couldn't be here. But I got to tell you about something that she wanted me to put a plug in for her tonight. And we both love this thing. And we got it in the company just sent us one to test. And I'll tell you what, we love it. It's called the Handy Camel Bag Clip. Now,
I looked it up. I had to look it up.
Picture a bag clip for a bag of chips that you have, right? And you open the chips and you eat some chips, and then you close the chips with this bag clip that they sell in the kitchen store. Mm-hmm. Well, now take it and make it 1.5 feet long make it super sturdy, and now you have a bag clip for your feed bags.
Oh, that is
wow.
So now this thing, and I was skeptical before we got it. I have one sitting right here, actually. A listener won one. I'm going to send it out to her. But so if you open your bag of feed and then nobody ever uses it all, and it doesn't have to be feed. It can be your
food.
Dog food. It can be gardening. It can be you use half a bag of mulch, pest control, whatever you have. Right? Is it a bag? You can take this great big clip and snap it over the top. Fold the bag, snap it over the top, just like a chip clip, except it has little things where it digs into the bag, and it has a handle on top, so you can use it to carry a bag
that is so cool.
Up to 40 pounds. You can carry up to 40, and it works. We've done it with like a whole bag of feed, and we've done it with a 50-pound bag of feed, and it just works. It doesn't slip off. These things are like little miracles, and I don't know why somebody didn't invent this a long time ago, but it's called the Handy Camel Bag Clip, and I'm just trying to see here how much they are, as seen on TV on the Today Show. But they're $20 for a pack of 2, so it's certainly affordable. And you're going to use these everywhere. I just am so sold on these, and they're not a sponsor or anything. We just liked them when we got. Jennifer also did this. You know how sometimes you just have to carry a couple flakes of hay? Well, what she did is she just took a bag, like a bag for feed or whatever. She cut it down the side, so it's just this big, long, open bag. And she just puts the hay. She uses it as a wrapper. She puts the hay in this bag, closes it up, clips it at the top, and just carries the hay out to the field with it. It's you could do so many things with this. It is really cool. You can find it at thehandycamel.com.
And I just found it on Amazon. So.
Is it on Amazon? I didn't know that. Okay. Was it $20 too?
No, it was 10 for one.
$20 for 2.
Right.
So that's right. Okay, that'd be the same. Yeah, there you go. And it comes in colors too. You can get white, lime green, sky blue, raspberry red, or terracotta, in case you're picky about your bag clip color.
Who doesn't like that?
It's a great invention. I don't know why somebody didn't invent that before.
Okay, what's next, Glenn?
My other one is human-related. I just got, after all my friends on Facebook kept... Actually, I heard about this from a girl who used to work with us in the acting company. She was 16 at the time, and she played a wench. She was our neighbor, and she did a ton of...
A witch or a wench?
A wench. And she became good friends, and, she kind of grew up doing these shows with us all these years. And now, we're all these years later, she has 10 children.
Oh boy. Goodness.
And obviously a lot of cooking involved. Well, she posted that she absolutely loves her Instant Pot. This has nothing to do with marijuana or smoking, okay? It's called Instant Pot. Yeah, I know, you could use that tonight, Patty. It's called Instant Pot. And what it is, you remember your mom or grandma's old pressure cooker?
Yeah.
That had the valve on the top and steam used to come out. And if you did it wrong, you could blow up the entire kitchen and burn yourself to death. Yeah.
Yes.
They were just dangerous creations. This is a pressure cooker, except it's a new modern pressure cooker with all the safety features. So it's not anything like your grandma's pressure cooker. So basically, you can cook everything in a quarter of the time. I made a 3-pound beef roast, which normally would take an hour or longer in the oven. It took 18 minutes. And it was so tender because you got to remember it's a pressure cooker, so there's steam inside, and the moisture stays in anything you cook, vegetables, whatever you cook in it, meats of any kind, it stays moist inside. And it literally, I made a beef stew, and usually, if I do beef stew, I start it in the morning in the crock pot, and 12 hours later you have beef stew, and then your beef's tender and everything. I made beef stew in 18 minutes.
Oh my gosh!
And it tasted just like beef stew I cooked the entire day. The beef was tender. Is it
easy?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really easy because everything's electronic. You brown your meat if you're going to brown, or if you they have a saute button, so you hit saute, you put it in, you brown your vegetables or your onions or whatever you're browning, and then you throw the rest on top. You put on the lid, set it for 12, 14 minutes, and that's it.
Okay, I need one of
That's
those.
unbelievable.
Literally anything I've cooked in here, and I cooked a beef stew in here, and it's just beef, and it's garlic and onion and potatoes. By the way, the potatoes were perfect. Carrots,
wow.
beef broth. You know how long real carrots take to cook? They take a long time. And then peas and everything. I put it. You brown the meat. Then you throw everything in there, and you cook it. This recipe called for cook time of 22 minutes. And
I'm loving this.
there you go.
Wow.
It was done, and it tasted wonderful.
That sounds perfect.
It was great. I highly recommend. I can't tell you how many of my friends have now bought these, and everybody loves them just because it's such a time saver.
So where do you get them?
Well, that's the thing. They were sold out at Amazon since Christmas because everybody's buying them. Now, there's different versions. Different companies make them. I highly recommend the Instant Pot, that particular one. It's the best made of them. It was $99 for a 6-quart, which is, they have a 5, 6, and 7-quart. I got the 6-quart, and it seems to be plenty for us. I made, spaghetti, how it tastes better when it cooks all day?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have time the other day, so I just browned the meat, the burger. No, I used turkey. I ground the turkey in the pot on saute. Put the rest of the stuff in there. Spaghetti cooks for 12 minutes. Cooked it for 12 minutes. It tasted like it had been in a crock pot all day.
Whoa!
Wow.
It was really good. And you can even put the noodles in while it cooks, and it'll make the noodles too. It's really good.
Wow.
It's really amazing. Now, there's safety features on it because it is still a pressure cooker, right?
Right.
But if you have to either the recipe will say let it take the pressure out, and after it's done timed cooked, it'll actually slowly let the pressure out. You don't even see steam or anything. It lets the pressure out, so after about 5 minutes, you can open the lid and the pressure's out. Or you can turn this little knob and it goes whoosh, and the pressure comes out after about a minute of going, and then you can take the lid off. But it will not let you take the lid off with the still pressurized. So it's much safer than grandma's. There's all kinds of safety features built into it.
Wow.
And you can use it as a crock pot and slow cook all day. So you have that too.
That's
and the electronic part of it's easy, right?
Oh, yes. I highly recommend you read the directions, which are pretty short. But once you read the directions, you must do that here when you first start. But I figured it out in about 10 minutes. And I highly recommend it. Now, I got mine at Walmart.com. They don't have it in the store, but I got it at Walmart.com for $99, and they had them in stock. So check around.
Cool.
Those are my 2 recommendations. And now I'm hungry.
Me too. I was just sitting here thinking, what was I going to make for dinner when we were done? But I don't know.
Whatever you make, it's going to take you longer than the Instant Pot.
Yeah, I hope you feel good about that, Glenn. So, Tigger, what do you got?
I have a human product.
Okay.
That's to wear.
Oh.
And it's called Icy Cools. ICIKULS.
Okay.
And I got it at the Horse, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a breathable, long sleeve, mock neck riding shirt. Now, I'm not riding these days, but I'm outside in the sun all the time.
Right.
And it protects you from sunburn. It cools you on hot, humid days. It's a moisture-wicking fabric. It's antimicrobial, and it has a UPF of 50.
Oh, wow. So it's like a riding sun shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I really like about it, and it's got those great little vents, under the arms and down the sleeve. But even if you are not riding, but you have to be outside and you want to be protected, it's incredibly light. They've got great colors. Like this is sort of a blue. It's a pattern. So it's not just a boring old white or a boring old pink or a boring old green or brown but the way it feels on your skin is amazing.
Oh, cool.
So for riders this summer, in the heat and the humidity, I highly recommend Icy Cool.
Icy Cool.
ICIKULS. Icy Cools.
Okay. I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah. When you come down to Wellington, you need to get some.
Yeah. That sounds good. They sound really awesome.
Awesome.
Are they the ones when the breeze hits you, they cool your skin? Is it that kind of? Yeah. Okay. Yep. I love that. Cool. Okay. Awesome.
And what do you have, Patty P?
Well, mine is horse related because that's all I ever do. That and my dogs. And I got this at Christmas. I actually got it for somebody else and I really liked it. It is a Noble Outfitters Equine Essential Tote. And basically what it is, it's a brush box. And our old brush boxes that we had before were the plastic ones that had, the little holes in the bottom, and they were really quite good. But they weren't, they're stiff, so you can't always fit them into every place. And what I like about this, it's cloth, but the whole bottom side of it is mesh. So all the dirt falls out. So if there's crap on your hoof pick or, something on your brush, most of it will fall out. And if it doesn't, you can just tamp the bag a little bit and the rest of it comes out. So it always looks kind of neat and clean. There's plenty of little compartments to put your stuff. You can put your fly spray and, your brushes, your hoof pick, if you have anything else you want in there. And it's very easy and it's soft and you can fit it anywhere. And I loved, and they come in kind of cool colors. Noble Outfitters is sort of my favorite company right now because they have, so many good, they have a good kind of, not the Icy Cool shirts, but the long sleeve, sun shirts like you're talking about. They have all sorts of different stuff. But this has been my favorite brush box of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, and what's nice about it is it just stays clean. So even how the other ones would get kind of junked up and you'd have to take everything out, wash it. You can still rinse this out because the bottom is just very, very open mesh. It's not like tiny mesh, it's bigger holes. And it always stays clean and neat looking. So that's my new favorite product.
So that's nobleoutfitters.com.
Yes. I got mine on Amazon. They're more limited for colors, I think, through there. But yeah, nobleoutfitters.com.
So it's time that we talk to Hedwig.
Yippee.
I have a very important question.
I was going to say, we always have such good questions for her. Okay.
I don't know how good this is, but it's something that I'm
sure she'll tell us.
Has been
wondering
dying to ask her.
Hello.
Hetty.
Killer and Patty and Jennifer.
Glenn.
It's Glenn.
You have to put up with me this time.
Hello, Glenn. I have no real view on you at this time, so perhaps you will become friendly.
Oh.
I see how this is starting.
Yeah. Hetty, we have a question we are dying to ask you.
Yes, I'm ready at any time to answer questions. It is, in fact, my sole purpose on this show.
What is your favorite animal other than a dog?
I'm very fond of humans. Well, a human. No, I don't like humans. I'm taking that back. I like the one horse who puts its snout on my ears. I like that. I like cats. Very fond of cats. Cute, nice, friendly, very bossy. I like that. Assertive.
Now, my Pomeranian like to chase cats. Do you like to chase cats?
No. Never chase them. They are friends.
Oh, okay.
We have an alliance.
Oh.
Boy, why am I not surprised?
Yeah.
The cats and I view humans very similarly as staff.
Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So why would I chase them? They are my natural allies.
How about things like squirrels and chipmunks?
I have no opinion on those.
Huh.
Really?
I would not chase them, for that would be rude. But often they are in trees, and I tend to leave things that are high up alone.
My greyhound would have an opinion on a squirrel.
So would my Aussies.
Yeah.
Heathen barbarians.
Lunch is what my greyhound is saying. Lunch.
But don't see the need to kill things. Couldn't we all just get along
Yeah.
and have humans bring us food?
Well, I guess it could work that way.
Yeah.
There was no way
That's how it
Pomeranians
should be.
ever survived in the wild, was there?
No way.
No.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Absolutely zero.
Well, you people are being quite dismissive of my survival skills, but actually, if you leave me in a truck, I will forage for food like a boss.
Yeah.
That I believe.
I've heard that.
Do you
That-
know that just recently I was found head down in a bag of horse cookies?
Oh. Shocking.
And I've taught the gerbil to do it too.
The
The gerbil is the Valhund puppy.
yes. Yeah. I figured
It's
that.
not a puppy. It's a feral gerbil.
You're okay.
All right, Hetty. Well,
That was
thanks.
yes, that was informational.
Enlightening as always.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm so happy that I could enlighten you in your darkness.
Thanks, and I'll make sure you have some cheese later on tonight.
Nice.
Bye,
Bye,
Hetty.
Hetty.
Bye.
Bye.
And now it's time for the breed of the show.
So we are at the breed of the show segment, and this time I chose a different breed that Tigger just enjoys hearing the name. It's called a Cirneco Dell'etna, and I apologize, Janice, if I haven't said it correctly. Janice is a friend of mine that got me interested in the breed. Tigger said, "Well, how did you come up with this dog?" And a very good friend of mine who was a cat person for the longest time. I mean, serious cat person. Cat people, Tigger, they don't jump into the dog side.
No.
And they don't. And anyway, I understand a little bit more because I think this is kind of a cat-like dog. But basically, it is a Sicilian Greyhound. They're kind of an interesting dog. They are like the Pharaoh or a Beeson Hound. They look a lot like that. They are males mature to about 26 pounds, females to about 22. They're very similar to the typical Greyhound that we all know. They come in a bunch of different colors, but the most common color is like the Isabella or the tan type color. They have a fantastic temperament. They're unbelievable agility-wise. They're a sight hound like the Pharaoh Hound. They're very closely related with the kind of the Pharaoh Hound, and they were used. The history of them is they were used initially for hunting, and what their breed traits is that they were tireless. They would hunt and hunt and hunt for hours and hours and never need food or water. So they have now in modern day times, they use them a lot for agility, and they're apparently quite good. They're quite cat-like, but so they're known for their athleticism, and they're also a great companion dog. They're great hunters, and they're just, like I said, they're known for they've got a keen sense of smell, but they're very quiet hunters. So if you have them in your house and you have, a cat or whatever, they're very good at sneaking up on other animals without them knowing. Having said that, they're very good with other animals as long as they're introduced early, like any other breed. Their temperament is they're very strong and inquisitive and independent, and they're very loving with their family. They're little socialites. They love when, people come to visit, and they'll come and, greet you and love on you. And then they're very good, and they'll like go into their corners and lay downs, but they're very good situationally. You can put them in many situations as long as you give them the opportunity to adjust to it or, bring them into it. They're wonderful, meaning that I wouldn't recommend them as an apartment dog, because they do have to have, exercise, but they're very good at hanging out, like greyhounds. I think Jen and Glenn have.
Yeah, we have a greyhound. Sounds a lot like them, actually.
Yeah. So they need their exercise, but they'll also hang out and they'll be really good. So I think they're very similar.
And are
that
they
way.
size-wise? Are they size of a greyhound or like an Italian greyhound?
I think more like an Italian greyhound because, like I said, the male is about 26
I'd never
pounds.
heard of these.
Well, I hadn't either. And like I said, what got me so interested in this whole thing was my friend, who was just a die-hard cat person, now has 3 of these and has no cats. So it was just kind of funny.
And they look bald. I mean, like the cats that have no hair is kind of what they look like.
They don't have a lot of body fat like the Italian greyhound or the greyhound, and their coat is thin, but they're not hairless.
And there's only 200 or so in the United States, so it's a very
and they're originally from Italy. Do they like pizza?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. They're Sicilian too. They are Sicilian.
Meatballs, spaghetti.
So the coolest part of this, and it really was quite lengthy, but I just kind of summarized. They when they got into the whole history of what their name was, and I guess there's a mountain Dell'etna, which is obviously part of their name, but somewhere else in Sicily there was a place of worship, and oh my gosh, I can't. What's the name? Holy Temple. I could not. That totally escaped me. A temple. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. Anyway, they were said that they possessed a supernatural instinct to attack the sacrilegious, but always welcomed the devout. So they say their keen ability to figure people out is one of their most wonderful traits. So anyway, it sounds like kind of a cool dog. They're definitely a sight hound. So you have to be very good at keeping them on the leash, because if they see a rabbit, they're gone. But they are supposedly really great, easy dogs to get along with, and you can put them in, like I said, most at different circumstances. But if you have an apartment, you don't necessarily want to consider this as a lap dog that's going to hang out and not need its exercise. It definitely needs to be exercised, and it's excellent in agility. And that's what my friend does. She does agility with hers, and just loves them to death. So Cirneco Dell'etna.
Wonder where you find one of those. If there's only a couple hundred, Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is how this gal got into it. She's works for the Equestrian AIDS Foundation, and there was somebody that needed some help through the foundation, and she went on their website, and this woman bred these dogs, and she fell in love with them. And interestingly enough, she co-owns one with the breeder, and they made it to Westminster.
Oh, wow.
This past year. Yeah. So
I not remember seeing them at Westminster.
Yeah. Well, they've only been AKC recognized since 2006, and it is in the hound group, and it's
it says 2015. AKC. I'm at the AKC site.
Oh, registered. No, it said registered. It said to me, it said registered in 2006. At 2015. No, you're right. 2015. You are right. I think they became.
They recognized them, but they didn't become
exactly
part into the
you're right.
AKC
Absolutely.
until 2015.
2015. So there you go. If you want a cat, but you don't, and you still want a dog.
And if you want a pizza-loving dog, here you go.
And if you want a dog that loves Italian, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm looking at pictures of them as puppies. There's actually an association. It's the, how do you say it again?
Cirneco Dell'etna. I had to write that down.
It's the Cirneco Dell'etna Association of America. Mm-hmm. And they have 20 members. But, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know how many.
22.
How can they afford to keep the association going? That's my question.
I don't know how to answer that.
Well, now after Healthy Critters Radio, maybe there'll be an explosion of people that want.
We might double the population to 20.
Yeah, there you go.
No, there's 200.
Oh,
here, so
then we might double it to 400.
Yeah, come on, Glenn, read that correctly.
All right, well, now we all learned something today about it.
We did. Yeah. Did. And I'm telling you, every time you say it, you're still never going to say it correctly. I keep looking at my thing, Cirneco Dell'etna. And I guarantee I'm not probably saying it correct, but still an interesting breed at that.
Yeah, the one person listening to this show that owns one or has seen one in the past is now mad at you because you're pronouncing it wrong.
Someone then you can go on our Facebook page and tell us if you have one and tell us stories about your dog, and if I said it incorrectly. But I tried.
Very good. All right, and we are now going to head to our next segment.
So we're at our critter nutrition segment of the show, and today I'm going to talk about aloe vera. Aloe vera has a long history of use as a beneficial and important medicine plant. The Egyptians used aloe topically, and the dead were embalmed with aloe. It was known in Egypt as the plant of eternity. Alexander the Great used aloe juice to heal war wounds of his army. It is said that Aristotle convinced Alexander to capture the island of Socotra, specifically to gain possession of the precious aloe groves to provide enough medication to heal the wounds of Alexander's battalions. The ancient Chinese and Japanese cultures consumed juice of the aloe plant. In Japan, it was known as the royal plant and was highly valued by the samurai as an elixir. The Chinese referred to aloe as the method of harmony. In Ayurvedic medicine, aloe is considered rejuvenating and is sometimes called the mother of all healing systems. How does aloe work? Aloe contains several powerful nutritional factors: polysaccharides, glycoproteins, and glucomannan. Polysaccharides can increase cellular movement, leading to faster and more efficient tissue regrowth. Glycoproteins can help control the inflammatory response. And glucomannan is a type of dietary fiber that is shown can stimulate the fibroblast cells that help build new collagen and tissue. Aloe for topical use. I keep tubes of aloe in the barn in the house. Aloe gel has been used for centuries for burns, scrapes, skin irritations, sunburn, and abrasions. I also have 2 large aloe plants in very large pots in order to have the fresh leaf gel. Aloe can be used for acne, psoriasis, frostbite, and to reduce scarring. I don't use aloe on big open wounds, but do apply it to the tissues surrounding the wound. I do use it on scrapes, nicks, small cuts, and abrasions on the horses, myself, and the dogs. I have burned myself a time or 2, and the aloe took the pain away immediately. Aloe for ulcer horses. Aloe can be a wonderful addition to the equine diet for horses struggling with gastric issues and ulcers. Since it is mucilagenic, it will soothe the gastrointestinal tract. It is high in digestible fiber and can support the regulation of healthy colonic bacteria. Due to the fact that aloe can relieve irritation of the mucous membranes, it becomes an important food for ulcer-sensitive horses. Aloe can support the immune system. The gastrointestinal tract plays a significant role in immune system function. Aloe vera contains some antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. A published study in the Journal of Applied Animal Research identified that aloe reduced the number of E. coli colonies and increased the number of lactobacillus colonies in the gut. What kind of aloe to use? When it comes to topical application, I use the 99% pure gel, or simply break off a leaf from the plant and rub it on the burn or cut. For internal use for the horses and myself, I use distilled aloe, called George's aloe. Distilled aloe is not diluted, does not contain preservatives or additives, and is 100% pure aloe. It tastes like spring water, so it is very palatable to even the most picky equine. Protecting the equine GI tract during riding and training. One of the challenges, particularly with ulcer-sensitive horses, or the horses that are recurrent ulcer horses, is protecting the delicate intestinal mucosa when the horse is worked. The biology of the horse requires the horse to eat 20 hours a day, producing bicarbonate from saliva, which helps reduce the acid in the stomach. When we ride and train, the gut is mostly unprotected, and the acid is constantly being produced. In response to my own ulcer-sensitive horse, I formulated Biostar's Tummies. This formula is made into bars to be fed by hand and provide a unique and specialized aloe with organic cabbage for added amounts of glutamine to heal the intestinal mucosa. What makes Tummies unique is that we use a microcrystallized aloe that is stronger than distilled aloe because it is highly concentrated. This microcrystallized aloe is more bioactive than the gel or distillate. Because it is so bioactive, it comes with a big price tag, $200 a pound. This is not your average Costco or Trader Joe's bulk aloe. Because it is so powerful, it goes to work to coat the GI tract and protect it from potential gastric acid burn, particularly in the stomach. I often think of it as a plant version of the drug sucralfate. Tummies is to be given before the horse works, so it's best to give while the horse is being tacked up so that the aloe can go to work coating and protecting the GI tract. Any period of stress for horses, such as trailering, showing, changing barns, losing a pasture mate, farrier work, or a change to the routine, you can give Tummies to protect the gut and lessen the chance of gastric irritation. Whether you grow some aloe in a pot or have the gel and distillate on hand, aloe is, in my opinion, a must-have in home and barn. There are toxic substances in the rind of the aloe leaf, so don't grab an aloe leaf and put it in your blender to feed your horse or dog. My recommendation is to feed 1/4 cup of George's distilled aloe per feeding for horses. Just add it to the feed. For the ulcer-sensitive horse under saddle, give 2 bars of Tummies 30 minutes before riding.
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why Biostar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. Biostar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real food ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The Biostar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended. So that's good to talk about aloe because I've seen at the store now these huge bottles of aloe. Yeah, and they're selling these huge bottles, and it's made to drink, okay? So yep. I wondered, because obviously we have 1,000 aloe plants around our house. So we have all the aloe we want here in Florida. It grows like weeds, literally. And so we just go cut some off, and we have some. But is that stuff they're selling in the bottles to drink actually, is it so full of crap that it's not worth it, or what?
Yeah, you have to really read the ingredients because unless it's 100% pure distilled aloe, there are going to be preservatives, additives, especially in the cheaper brands. And that's why I always recommend George's.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And now I do have another question if I can interrupt today.
Okay,
this is very personal for me. Of course, I have chronic Lyme disease, which I think everybody knows. And have had it for 14 years. And I control it through diet. And, I still get sick. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't do a show because I was sick. Mine's neurological, so I can't think or talk, which a lot of people would say is normal but with me. But it actually gets worse on those days. But now this study came out, and the European, by the way, the AMA does not believe there is such a thing as chronic Lyme disease because the insurance companies don't want to pay for it. Right. So now the CDC says 10 to 20% of patients do go on to develop a chronic form, which I thought's interesting because isn't the CDC also American?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. But now the Europeans have been doing a lot of studying on Lyme, which is interesting because it's not so prevalent over there as it is here. But what they're finding is that stevia, they're finding in these early studies that stevia has been killing Lyme in chronic patients more than antibiotics ever will. They're finding stevia is one of the most effective things for killing these bugs that basically sit in your body. And they're doing further studies now because they're finding that stevia is the one thing that will kill these guys off.
Okay, so I'm looking at the study actually as we speak, and I want to point this out because this is really, really important.
Okay, that's why I wanted to ask you.
What they are using is a whole leaf extract.
And what does that mean?
It's not the sweetener in the stores.
Right. So what's that mean?
So they're using an extract from the whole plant itself.
Okay.
So that's a very different stevia than what you use to sweeten with.
So what do you first? Can you even buy that?
And stevia, let me tell you, real stevia leaf has a bitterness to
well,
it.
you even so is it pronounced stevia, by the way?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So if you even the stevia sugar or whatever you want to call it, the sweetener has kind of a little bit of a bitter taste anyway. So I can see that what you're saying.
Okay, so there are additives used with the stevia sweetener to take some of the bitterness out.
So I wonder if they're looking at doing this eventually. It will be in pill form or whatever. You know, they're.
That's a very good question, and sometimes extracts are actually liquid.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how this progresses, and obviously, I'm very interested to see how it progresses.
Yeah.
And they're also saying, which was interesting at the end of this article, was the study even found that the extract was able to lower high blood pressure and reduce blood glucose in type 2 diabetics.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Interesting.
Oh. So anyway, I wanted to ask your opinion about that. So don't start eating more of the sugar. That's not going to help me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
You're going to have to go, and I it may well be available is an extract from whole stevia leaf.
Well, I'll look that up as you're doing the next segment.
All right. Well, you're part of the next segment.
Oh, okay.
It's Coffee Clutch. Dun, da, da, da.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da, da, da.
Coffee
now-
Clutch.
We're on to Coffee Clutch.
I think this is a really important topic. We're going to talk about flea and tick products.
Oh,
my
we don't
gosh.
have those in Florida. Not at all.
And I'm just currently
Nobody
having
warned us when we moved to Florida that fleas were a nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, what's really interesting is NPR just did a forecast for Lyme disease, March 6, 2017.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And what they were interviewing some researchers, and I'm going to read from this article because it's really important to this topic. They're anticipating 2017 to be a particularly risky year for Lyme. So these researchers have studied Lyme for more than 20 years and have come up with an early warning system.
Because it was so mild in some parts of the country?
No, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
They can predict how many cases there will be a year in advance by looking at one key measurement. Count the mice the year before.
Well, that's where they come from.
Oh.
Mice are highly efficient transmitters of Lyme. They infect up to 95% of ticks that feed on them. Mice are responsible for infecting the majority of ticks carrying Lyme in the Northeast. And ticks love mice.
Wow.
Yes.
I've been interested. I've been listening to a new podcast about hiking the Appalachian Trail. And, you know, they don't worry about bears as much. The biggest predator on the Appalachian Trail is ticks. And the biggest thing that wipes people out from the Appalachian Trail is getting Lyme disease.
Well, they're saying they think that the burden of Lyme disease in the U.S. is about 300,000 cases.
Wow.
And I think that's low.
So the reasons for this Lyme explosion are many. Climate change is part of it. The surge in deer has also been a factor. But Ostfeld has found another reason, something that happened more than 200 years ago. Today, the Hudson River Valley in upstate New York is gorgeous. The hills are covered with oak forests, and the valleys are patchworks of hayfields and farms. But Ostfeld says the area didn't always look like this. When the Europeans came here hundreds of years ago, They clear cut nearly all the forest to plant crops and raise livestock. They also cut down trees for commercial use to make masts for ship and for firewood. Since then, a lot of the forest has come back, but it's not the same forest as before. Today, it's all broken up into little pieces with roads, farms, and housing developments. For mice, this has been great news. They tend to thrive in these degraded, fragmented landscapes because their predators need big forests to survive. Without as many foxes, hawks, and owls to eat them, mice crank babies. And we end up with forests packed with mice that are chronically infected with Lyme and covered with ticks.
That makes a lot of sense, and a lot of people don't realize that we have more forests now than they did back then. And it makes a lot of sense,
we don't have the same forest.
Right. It's a different... We have more trees now than we did back then. But
No. We have less trees. I read this really interesting book.
Is there mice in the house, Patty?
Oh, my gosh. No, but there was somebody at the door.
Oh, that'll do it.
The Frenchies always think it's good to announce them while howling. Sorry about that.
So this book called Bark Skins is about what the North American continent looked like when the French and the British got here. And it was an incredibly dense, big, old forest. And that's gone. That is never coming back.
Well, and part of that was they cut it all down, right? I mean, that was part of
Correct.
it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then they, burned it out and used some for masts and ships and then
just firewood. Heat.
And firewood, of course.
Yeah.
And then they started farming. So we don't have the forest that we used to have.
Interesting. So now...
So now we need to talk about, tick.
Yeah.
Yes.
And flea. Because I think if the prediction is right, we're going to have more of a tick problem this year. And in this NPR article, there's a picture of a map of Lyme disease in 2001, and it's basically concentrated along the coast from, New Jersey, southern Pennsylvania, up into, New York, Connecticut, but all south, And then you look at 2015, and it's like entire New England, and it's in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Southern Virginia, even down in Florida. So it's really spread.
England's having a big problem with it now.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just here anymore.
Wow. So what are you all using for flea and tick products?
Well, it's interesting because I have been very fortunate being here because in Houston it's a lot like Florida. Ticks or fleas can be really, really bad, and I honestly have not had a problem until about a week ago, and I'm always trying to be so careful about not trying to use more all natural stuff. And the weird thing is I bring Burke back and forth to the barn, and that's where there's, a lot more dogs and whatnot. So he's the one that's really affected by it. So, I always try to bathe them and, keep that in their area clean. But the breeder told me about a product called Wonderside, and it is all natural. And it's not the best smelling stuff, but if you can saturate their skin, and as I am finding out, Aussies are hard to get all the way down to the base of their skin. The Frenchies, no big deal. But it's a great product, and it really does work, and it is all natural. And it's called, and they have a bunch of different products, but it kills and repels, and it's it has cedar and rosemary. There's no harsh chemicals, and it kills the life of the cycle of the flea on contact, and it is vet recommended. So that's been, and it's not that expensive. You can get it, kind of in one of the big squirt bottles, and you can use it as frequently as you want, and you can spray their bedding, and it doesn't, it's not the best smelling stuff to me, but it doesn't smell like the Adams stuff, or the other type of stuff that you put on. So anyway, like I said, this is what I've been really trying, and it's been working on the Frenchies a little bit harder because I just don't think I can get down to the skin of Burke without like dipping him in it. Like just a little puppy dip. But I use it every day.
Okay.
So it's, and you can get this on Amazon, and a lot of vets carry it too, but it's safe.
That's really important.
Yeah, wonderside.com.
Last year I used the Seresto collar.
Mm-hmm.
It's made by Vera. They say it provides 8 months of flea and tick protection.
Mm-hmm.
My dogs are in and out of the water so much that it actually lasted about 4 months.
Right.
But it worked great.
And it's called Seresto?
Yeah, Seresto.
Seresto. Okay. Oh.
It's sort of a sustained release technology. However, it is an insecticide.
Right.
So I've just been trying a new one called Arava, Arava.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a collar, because I really don't like spraying and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's 100% non-toxic. You can even babies can be around this collar.
Oh, wow.
And they're just using botanicals, peppermint, cinnamon, lemongrass, and components that block the airway of the insects.
Okay.
And you can get it on Amazon. And is it going to be 100%? I mean, I haven't had to deal with ticks yet.
Right.
Is it going to be 100% against ticks? I don't know. It's certainly, I mean, my dogs go to the dog park and they haven't picked up any fleas or ticks. So, maybe I'm going to have to add a topical, or just, go through them with a tick comb when they're out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
But I really am excited that so far it's worked great. Now, this summer I may have to go to Seresto because my dogs are in the woods, in the fields. They're not living a suburban life.
Right.
Somebody asked me recently, what other than the collars, and I used Frontline for a long time, and I have found that it has lost its punch, that the ticks are resistant to it.
Oh, wow.
Some people use Advantix.
That's the other thing that I use on the dogs.
It's a little tricky with the MDR1 gene with Aussies.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So unless you're get your dog tested, it's not something you'd want to use on him until you know where he is with that gene.
But the Advantix does not have ivermectin in it, though.
No, but it has something else, because if you go on some of the Aussie pages, lots of dogs are having reaction Aussies.
Oh, interesting, because I was told that was the one product that I could use.
Now, I do use Advantage Multi, but it's not against ticks. It's, worming, fleas.
Right.
So they get that once a month. And that's safe for Aussies.
Advantage, not Advantix.
Correct. Advantage Multi.
Advantage Multi, okay. And isn't that just an over the counter, like you don't have to go through your vet for that one?
You do not have to go through your vet.
Okay.
You can get it at, pet supplies. What's that? 1-800-PET-MEDS.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can't find it on Amazon, so you do have to go to 800-PET-MEDS.
So when you did the Seresto collar, how did you how did that work? Like, how do you get that? Like, because I've not seen that before.
Okay, so you can get it on Amazon. And they say, you know, you get 8-month protection, but trust me, when the dogs get wet, you don't get 8 months. But I was happy to get 4.
Okay. But if it tells you what size.
Yeah, I think they have small, medium, large.
Okay. Because that may be something that I would want to try. Okay. Interesting.
Glenn, do you have any input on this? Hello. He took a powder.
He did. We're on our own. We're on our own. What does that mean?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We can dangerous.
We can do whatever we want.
We can talk about
it. We could do things that would make him so mad. Which we do anyway.
True.
Yeah.
He says we're entertaining.
Yeah.
I just ran out to figure out what we give. Were you guys looking for me?
Oh, and we were having fun.
Oh, okay.
We were like, Glenn. Hello.
Because greyhounds are weird because you can't give them a lot of stuff that you can give other dogs.
Yeah, they're so sensitive.
Yeah, they're sensitive to everything, which is unfortunately why they used them for experimenting for so long. So we use Advantage 2, which is put out by Bayer. It's a Bayer product, Advantage 2, and it's one of the drops you put on their you put on them. It kills fleas and ticks and things like that. So
how well is it working?
What's that?
How well is it working?
It's the only thing we found that worked with all the fleas we have here.
Wow.
We tried collars. I was just looking at Amazon, and we bought about 20 different kinds of collars and all this stuff, and it was the only thing that worked. Now, Dr. Wendy, and I don't remember the name of it, has a prescription that they were giving for ticks and fleas too, and I don't remember what the prescription was, but it didn't even work as well as the Advantage did. And, although I agree with you guys, I think like Frontline, products like this stop working over a period of time.
Yeah.
I do think that that's true. But that's what we found that works for the Greyhound here right now.
Interesting. So to recap, we had because I'm on Amazon right now going, I'm buying one of these collars because I have bathed this dog every day.
And that's not good.
Well, but he's getting little sores on his patookus, and we don't want that.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. Yeah, and I like I said, I was having success with this Wonder Side, and I think it's really good to help really prevent it in the sense that if you can use it before it becomes an issue. The great thing is he's the only one that's affected by it, which is odd. So the other dogs aren't having a problem. So yay, for that. But it's just trying to figure out what's the best thing to do is hard because bless his little heart, he's just in there. Like right now he's just in his little crate itching away. And and again, just so listeners know, one of the number one things when you treat your dog, you should always wash their bedding. So, because they can be living in the bedding. So baths are good. However, they're not good if you have to do them every day.
No, it's not good at all.
No. So okay. So Glenn, you were saying, now what did you say yours was?
It's Bayer Advantage 2. And it's 2. The drops. You put on their back once a month.
Right. Yep. Gotcha.
Just make sure that, there's no anything that an Aussie can be allergic. Look it up and do a Google search for Aussie groups and just Advantage 2 and
I've never owned an animal that wasn't weird and needed special stuff. Who owns those animals? Because I've never found that any animal we ever had was normal. Just saying.
I'm with you on that.
Just horses, doesn't matter what. So we always had the special needs children.
Yeah. True.
So to recap, we have Arava, which is the the natural pest repellent collar. It's new. So far, it's working for me. We have the Seresto flea and tick collar, which has medicine in it, and for my dogs, it worked great for a couple of months. Glenn uses Advantage 2, and Patty uses Wonderside.
Wonderside.
And so if you're using something that works great, please
let us know.
Get on our Facebook page or healthycrittersradio.com and let us know what you use, and we'll share it on our show.
Ta-da. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Biostar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Love your dog.
Hug your horse.
Feed your chickens.
Clean your litter box.
Dance with your goat.
Slither with your snakes.
Howl at the moon.
Hang with your hamster.
Party with your parrot.
Waddle with your walrus.
Outwit your otter.
Cuddle your cow.
Rap with your raptor.
Go chipping with your chipmunks.
Forgive your fox.
Hedging with your hog.
We also recommend that you rack with your raccoon.
Gyrate with your giraffe.
Meditate with a meerkat.
Uber with your orangutan.
Facebook with your flamingo.
Hunter with your panda.
Walk with your Wookiee.
Yawn with your yak.
Twitter with your toucan.
Go raining with your reindeer.
Dropbox your dragon.
Snapchat your salamander.
Take a selfie with your squirrel.
FaceTime with your ferret.